What happened to your first ever partner? My first partner is someone that takes pleasure in talking down to others and making them feel bad about themselves. I'm no therapist, but I'm positive he's got something diagnosable. At any rate, he's a super toxic person, especially to me, and I blocked him on everything I could think of. He has still tried new ways to contact me a couple times in the last 20 years, but I am always immediately reminded why I cut off all contact. It's really sad, but I don't consider my first love to be a good person. I just hope he's not out there hurting more people. Actually makes me sad, but I'm pretty sure he's homeless and addicted to hardcore drugs. We were together all throughout high school, and I remember my mum crying when we broke up because there was so many pages of love letters and cards to throw out. He ended up with my cousin after I left the state. I tried warning her he was mentally unstable. That love is love, of course, that ended horribly. It makes me sad. He had incredible musical talents. It was so self-destructive. I do hope he is alright, but I can't ever reach out to him for my own peace of mind. He the same. Still so sweet and enthusiastic first long-term partner. Well, after he declared that he didn't want to get married until his gay cousin could get married, he decided to move to Europe. He made sure to let me know by trying to give me back a painting that he bought from me. I left him on read. This dude, by the way, cheated on me with like 13 people at Burning Man, and one of our pregnant friends. I imagine he calls himself a relationship anarchist these days, lol. I don't actually know. We broke up in 2019 but remained friends till 2021. When he just went silent. Last time I saw him was with my two other friends at the time. He and one of my other friends met up again soon after. Then they both went silent. Myself and the other friend never heard anything from the both of them. I know they're still alive, as one posted gym pics on Instagram, and my actual ex-partner's dad is a local fisherman who my brother knows mutually. Apparently his son is an absolute disgrace. That's all I know. We went our separate ways with no real drama. I didn't know what she was up to for about 20 years as I moved to a different town when I got married. After about 6 years in the new town I lived in, I discovered she lived about 3 streets from me. Also married with children. Our kids even went to the same school. We had a coffee and a trip down memory lane, which was interesting. Then have never seen her again, not even accidentally, in the local shops. Both very different people now. Greetings from the universe, blessings and divine mercy be upon you and your descendants. I bring you angel and excess love, dear. May your pain be replaced with peace, and may your dark days be replaced with brighter days. The universe adores you. The universe has blessings in store for you, love. Please, I would like to have a conversation with you. I have a divine message for you, dear. You can send me a message if your heart goes with it. I will be waiting. My girlfriend and I have been together for 7 years. When I brought her to meet my family, my father said he didn't like her because she looked small and wouldn't be in good health. I don't think it's important because there are many methods to help the body become healthy, and the important thing is that we love each other very much. I explained to my father that he was a conservative person and didn't listen to what I said. What should I do in this case? My first kiss. She is married to one of my brother's friends with 2 kids. A good job, and is doing well. I see her once or twice a year at gatherings, and everything is good because it was middle school and no real baggage when it ended. It is nice to chat with her every now and then. My first sexual partner. She is married without kids, way into CrossFit, and despite still looking good, would absolutely not be a good match. Live and learn. We broke up on good terms in like 7th grade. Neither of us were too interested in each other after a few months of dating, but we sort of stayed friends after. Few months later she started dating this awesome dude who I fucking love, XD great guy, and they ended up staying together. I think to this day. I'm not sure. But if I'm right, they've been dating for the past 7-8 years. Genuinely happy for them, and I wish them the best. I work with my first partner's sister. Small town, so I know a few things. My first partner is still in many ways a teenager mentally, never gotten a job, lives on welfare, have 3 kids that was taken away by RCPS, thinks nothing wrong about themselves. Everything is still everyone else's fault. Still renting, gets kicked out all the time due to lack of rent, finds a partner, bleeds them dry for money, and moves on to the next one. My first sort of real relationship was when I was 13. Felt huge because I was really into her, and she was my first kiss. She has a little girl now, and seems to be doing well now. We still keep in touch lightly. It didn't end well. At most relationships that young done, and I don't have any ill feelings towards her any more. Cheating scandal lol. She's a great mum and has grown into a great person as well. She started acting less like a psycho, but now she's big on very progressive attitudes. It's kind of wild to watch a girl go from bringing dead animals home, preserving their corpses, to advocating respect for all living creatures. The first time I got dumped by her, it was because she wanted to go back to her ex-boyfriend. The second time was because I touched her, without permission. Last I saw on social media he was happily married to a pretty blonde. He wasn't a bad dude when we dated, so young, but he definitely had some growing up to do and could have been more respectful to me. I don't have regrets, but if I could I would have given my V card to someone else. But all that said, he was a hard worker and smart, and I'm sure as we all do he matured, and I hope he's happy. He cheated on me whilst I was 8 weeks pregnant and married the woman who made our first child's christening cake. They are still married. My oldest kids have little to do with him. I'm happily married with a third child. Turned out good for me. Horribly for my children, unfortunately. It was 20 years ago, and I absolutely remember the devastation it caused. It's been 20 years since we split, and roughly the same amount of time since we last had contact. No idea, never heard anything of her again. I hope she found happiness, learnt how to stay faithful to a partner, and has a good life. And no, I'm not kidding or ironic with the last line. I'm certainly not wishing her anything bad after so many years. We got divorced and he married someone else. His new wife has a kid and a very difficult ex-husband who harasses them both. From the sounds of things, my ex kinda went from an unhappy situation straight into a downright miserable one, and I don't envy him in the least. I hope he's doing okay though. Genuinely want nothing but happiness for him. Battling a lot of demons. She married some guy after we split up, had a baby. Then somewhere around 13 years later they're polygamous, and he ran off with their GF. I talked to her a few times since we split back in 2001. I hope she's doing well now. Last I spoke to her was probably 3 years ago, and she was struggling with her bipolar. We started off like a rom-com, but eventually, life turned it into a tragic sitcom. We went from exchanging sweet nothings to decoding passive-aggressive somethings. In the end, we both hit the unsubscribe button on our relationship, opting for solo adventures. It was like a breakup with training wheels. Awkward but necessary. We dated when we were 19 for 8 months. We are still in touch almost 20 years later, to the point he called me, and we spoke on his wedding day for an hour. They had a baby and got divorced while she was pregnant. He sees the kid when he's allowed, sends me pictures. He never wanted to be a father, but he's a very good one. First ever boyfriend died of the flu about 15 years ago. He had a heart condition. We hadn't seen each other at that point for nearly 10 years. He was my kindergarten sweetheart, and we were dating as teenagers for a few years on and off. My first adult serious relationship became my husband nearly 20 years ago. Funny enough, I spoke to her the other day for the first time in like 8 years. Turns out she has health issues and has to have a full hysterectomy due to a very high cancer risk. She doesn't have kids, so now never will. I feel for her as wounds from our breakup heal ages ago. We split in 2010. They diagnosed themselves with borderline personality disorder and used it as an excuse to treat people horribly. Refused to seek any help at all. We were teenagers. I have no idea how they're doing now, but I hope they learn to take care of their mental health and stop treating people like shit. My first serious GF married an English guy and moved to England to work in an ESOL school. She never really matured and loved the nomad life. We weren't meant for each other. I'm happy she's happy, and I don't care much if she falls in a ditch and rolls into the River Thames. My first boyfriend died in a car accident a month ago. Even though we had not talked for 7 years, he held a special place in my heart. I feel really sad. I wish I had talked to him one last time before this happened. Has this happened to anyone here? How did you move on? I think he's in a long-term relationship with someone. Don't know. When I broke it off, I stopped every checking of social media, the works. The only updates were casual mentions from friends who have him on social media. Man, did I dodge a toxic bullet? She found me on FB a couple of years ago. She had 2 kids and working a job she didn't like. She wanted to reconnect, and I'm not one to hold grudges, happy to be her friend. Anyways, I noticed like a year ago that she had deleted me. Not a big deal tbh. He became a nurse, which is extremely not reassuring as he gave me a black eye and coerced me into unwanted sexual activity. I never reported him because it was only my word against his, and I probably would have just looked like a malicious ex. Ironically, 20 years later, he started stalking me. I had to file a report with law enforcement on Thursday. He was served a cease and desist, and if I ever hear from him again, he'll be charged with felony stalking. Creepy ass mofo. My first, we dated for like 2 months, and I think she's at a university like 45 minutes from me. Haven't talked to her in like 4 years. First actual real love, we dated for 2.5. She's doing well, I think, at her school. He's married and has 2 sons. Has a home, his own business, and I presume is very happy. Thought about him for years and years, but realized that we wouldn't have worked had we stayed together. I wish him and his family well.